I am an intuitive wellness coach, and I empower women to break free from the quick fixes that a lot of us go to when we're trying to seek different health modalities. And I help women tap into their inner strength so that they can create vibrant life revolved around physical, mental, and spiritual health. And so the program that I have to support women in doing this is called a Wellness Warrior, and it's 6 weeks to building your individualized fitness holistic plan. And it incorporates different modalities because as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's not just about fitness and losing weight and counting calories and revving up our metabolism. Wellness is so much more, and it incorporates, the mind, the body, and the soul. And so I take them through this journey so that they can tap into and figure out what routine best works for them. And it may include fitness, but it may also include breath work, meditation, yoga, cold plunging, sound healing, like all these other different things that maybe they didn't think about, but that they actually truly enjoy and want to incorporate into their lives.
Yeah, I think that's a very important issue because sometimes when we think about health and wellness, we only think about like our weight or other things, but that's wellness and spirituality, like everything is a combination. So we cannot separate one from the other, right?
Exactly. Yes. It's a holistic approach. I mean, your eating, your sleep patterns, your stress levels, like balancing your nervous system. And because when you work out, you do put your body in a stress state. And so, which is not necessarily a bad thing all the time, but if we're always like, say, especially I feel like as women, and if you have children or you work outside of the home, whatever it may be, we're in a stress state majority of the day.
Yeah.
And then if you're, working out and moving your body in fitness, that's great, but that's still putting your body in a stress state. So how can we balance that out with some nervous system and getting your body into a parasympathetic mode? And that's where the more spiritual and mental stuff comes in that we don't necessarily always think about, but we actually really need.
Yeah. And what do you think, like, are you working like with a specific age group, or do you have like your clients from all ages?
So specifically, most of my clients, if they realize early on that they need to balance their wellness approach, whatever it may be, with a little bit more holistic, spiritual, mental modalities, they are in their late 30s, but typically my clients are in their 40s, early 40s to mid 40s. So anywhere from like 38-year-olds to and up, I would say is most of my clientele.
So maybe if they can realize that earlier, in their early 30s, I think they can benefit it.
Oh, definitely.
Better, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are maybe the complaints of a person who should like seek for your services, or like any kind of like, like a coaching services according to that wellness subject?
Yes. So most women that I see, they feel sometimes alone, actually. They're yearning for that community. They want that accountability because I think a lot of times you start something, but if you have no one to really hold your hand or hold you accountable or to check in with, you kind of fall off the wagon.
Yeah.
And then women who are like have a lot of things going on in their lives that are busy, but are seeking that reconnection with themselves and trying to figure out how can they get into a routine that they can fit into their lives, right? Because that's the thing too, like, you can tell somebody to do all these things, but if it doesn't really fit into their life and their lifestyle, they'll do it for that certain period of time and then they fall off because it's just not something that they can maintain. And I actually think that's one of the biggest mistakes that people make is they're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And they start doing all these things and then it goes nowhere. So I think starting with like small steps, baby steps, and as you start to gain your confidence, and like you're like, wow, I actually will just use I'll use working out and fitness and movement. Some people are like, I'm gonna work out 6 days a week, when they haven't worked out for like months at all. And then all of a sudden they're like, I'm gonna work out 6 days a week, an hour a day. And then maybe for the first week they do it, but then as the second week and the goes on, they're like, it's not happening, right? And that probably wasn't realistic for their lifestyle and their goals. So that's something that I coach people through. Like, what goes on in your life? Like, how do you have children? Are you married? Do you work outside of the home? What are the things that are going on in your life? And then how can we incorporate, small things into your life to help you reconnect with yourself, feel good, gain that confidence. And then as you start, doing these things and accomplishing them, you build your confidence and realize, okay, I can do this. And then you start to feel so much better. Because I think that when we try to go all in with everything, we then self-sabotage ourselves because we fail. And then we're like, well, I failed, so screw it. I'm just going to quit. And that's not where I want women to be. And the women that come to me typically have gone through that pattern.
Many times, maybe, right?
Yes, many times. I mean, I've done that myself. Like, so I get it.
And I think also in today's world, like with all this like social media and everything, we are also bombarded with trendy diets, trendy exercises, even trendy like meditations, wellness routines and everything. So sometimes we think that what is trendy will work for us, but it's not the case, right?
Yes. I just am such a believer that it's so individualistic and because everybody's lifestyle is a little different. So like for some people, maybe going to the gym and lifting weights is their thing and they actually enjoy it, and that's great. But for others, maybe they just want to dance and like have fun and move their body in that way. And that's okay because you're still moving, you're still getting your cardiovascular system working and you're enjoying it. Do what you enjoy, not necessarily what everybody else is doing.
And also there is another issue like between quality and the quantity. Like you said, like the example you gave, sometimes people think that working out 1 hour maybe is the best, but if you don't do the right thing, even if you spend your whole day working out, you are not going to get the result you want. So
and if you're in that stress burnout state, you're definitely not going to get the result, because a lot of the thing that people don't think about is that you actually will get more results if your nervous system is regulated. And that's where that meditation, that breath work, that checking in with yourself comes into play. And that's when they start to notice, like if their goal, say, is weight loss, like that's when they actually start to notice their body changing because their mind is changing. And another thing, I know a lot of people are like, meditation, I can't sit there for a half hour and meditate. And again, that's the other thing. You don't have to. You can literally sit for a minute and just place your hand on your heart, close your eyes and breathe for a minute, just checking in with yourself. If that's all you can do, that's amazing. And that's fine. So again, even when it comes to those more mental and spiritual approaches, I think there's this stigma or thought that you have to do it for like such a long time to get anything from it. And that's not true either. And there's more than just meditating that you can do to put yourself in a more parasympathetic, calming state.
I sometimes tell to my clients that even like having a hobby and doing something that you like, like gardening, I don't know, like knitting, something that you like, and spending a little time with that thing alone without thinking about any other thing can be even like a meditation for them.
Totally. Yes. Being out in nature, going for a hike, like
Mhm.
it doesn't have to be sitting in silence. It doesn't have to be,
Yeah,
and I don't think people necessarily realize that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
you're right. So how they can reach out to you, the people who would like to maybe get your services, how they can reach out to you? And
Yes.
what is the routine? Like do you have an introductory meeting? Like how it starts?
Yes. So I'm on Instagram
Mm,
as URSTRONG 13. So it's You Are Strong 13. I'm on Instagram so people can DM me from there. I have
mhm.
a website which is www.yourstrong.fitness.com. So youarestrongfitness.com.
I will
And
also put all these information at the
okay.
bio
Yeah, they
too.
can book a discovery clarity
Mhm,
call with me, and we can go over what their goals are and see if we're a good fit
mhm,
to work together. And yeah, I'm very open in communication. I think that is huge. And most people who have calls with me before they choose to go into the Wellness Warrior program, they're going to get something out of that call. Like they're going to have an
mhm,
enlightened like moment,
mhm,
because I'm definitely a giver. So um, I feel like everybody needs to get something out of even just our discovery call that we go
mhm,
through. Um, and so yeah, I have a website. Instagram is the social platform that I'm mostly on,
mhm.
and then booking a call.
Perfect, perfect. Well, as you know, I also have three questions for you.
Yes.
So let me start with my first question. What were the breaking points in your 30s, if there were any, that made you change your lifestyle, work style? I don't know, any kind of thing in your life.
Yes. So I feel like my 30s had a lot of transitional moments. I had my children at 34, 36. My mom then passed away at 38. We moved during that in my 30s as well. So there was a
Mhm,
lot of transformative and transitional moments that happened within my 30s. And I think that um, what really changed my outlook was understanding that I needed to put boundaries up
mhm,
and say no to things
mhm,
that did not light me up inside. I think that in your 30s, or in my 30s at least, I was saying yes to people and doing so much and on this go, 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 when I was also trying to raise two little children. And then towards the end of my 30s, going through a grieving process, but I still was just go, 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 do everything, yes, girl, like whatever you need. And it wasn't until my later 30s when I really started to tap into no. Like I need to stop and I need to say no. And the people that will continue to surround themselves with me are my true ride or die people. Because when you do start putting boundaries up, you will really realize who are the people that are in your corner, right?
mhm,
Because the people that do not understand your boundaries or don't respect them, they they're not your people. And that's okay. There's not necessarily anything wrong with those people. It's just that they're not your people who are truly there for you and understanding what your needs are.
mhm,
And that's something that was a big aha moment for me
mhm,
in my 30s, as well as what propelled me to focus more on the mental and spiritual side of health,
mhm,
still incorporating the physical, but moving more into that mental and spiritual side of health, because that's where the boundaries come in, understanding like your old programming and moving away from that,
mhm,
and tapping more into being out in nature, meditating, breath work, sound healing, all those other more holistic type modalities that were starting to light me up more inside. And just really focusing on if someone comes to you and either asks you to go somewhere or do something, if you don't feel that hell yes, then
mhm. Yeah.
you got to feel that hell yes, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
feeling And if you don't feel that, if there's any like, or hesitation, that's your like orange to red flag to say, nope, that's not part of my truth. It's not this is not what I want to do. And saying no and utilizing your voice. So that's definitely something I learned as I was coming out of my 30s.
I see. And you also mentioned that you were moving in your 30s. So I think what kept maybe your sanity and your system going was having this, like 360 approach to your well-being, right? Like being like having a consistency, like having a routine and to rely on, right?
Definitely. I am a routine person.
Me
Like
too.
I do like schedule, which it can actually be a pro and a con. Like a pro because at least I know what my routine is, but then a con where sometimes I might get upset with myself if I
Yeah.
deviate from it, right?
Yeah.
But again, that's something though I've learned as I've gotten older now to go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where in my 30s, I wasn't going with the flow. I was hard on myself. I was in the more masculine, like direct, I have to do this. And now as I've gotten older and out of the 30s, I've just realized it's okay. Like go with the flow. The to-do list is always going to be there.
Yeah.
I might not check every single thing off that list today, and that's okay. Where before I was just harder on myself and didn't have the time because I was giving my time to so many other people. And I should have been giving more of my time to me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Priorities, right? Like we learn, we live and learn our priorities.
Yes.
So my second question is about one thing that you swore by in your 30s that you don't believe in anymore. Is there like maybe a habit or like a part of your routine?
Yes. So, I mean, I was less into the, I did dabble in yoga and a little bit in meditation, but I was definitely the person that was like, you want me to sit and like meditate for like 30 minutes like this? I can't do that. There's no way. Cause my mind was always spinning. So I swore by fitness, just great fitness, physicality part of it. But I got burnt out. Like I got really burnt out and I physically started to just not even feel well. And it didn't make sense to me because I'm like, I work out, I eat healthy. Like why do I keep getting like sinus infections and like just, sick, like kind of sick. And I swore by just strictly physical fitness. And again, then I was like, I started doing the mental and spiritual approach. And wow, like it was a complete change. I started incorporating that and I started to gain more clarity, calmness, more with going with the flow, just not feeling so wound up, wound up. And it's not like I was like a spaz, like stressed out, going around crazy, but that I did feel that inside, that heaviness and that stress. And so now I am more of a believer of, yes, there needs to be like a physical moving your body, but it doesn't necessarily have to be hardcore in the gym. It can be other things.
Yeah.
Definitely incorporating the more nervous system balancing, getting your body into the parasympathetic mode, with the calming modalities of mental and spiritual health.
Yeah, I think it's your hell yes method can also apply for the physical activities too, right? Of course we need to maybe like push ourselves a little bit, to work our muscles or like, in a different way. But still, if we really don't want to do that workout and we are finding all those excuses to not to do that workout, maybe we have to change that workout, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Again, going back to doing, what lights you up inside, what makes you feel good. I do still like to lift weights. I do feel like I get excited when I can lift something heavy, and I do like that feeling. However, before I was the one that was in the gym like 6 times a week. And now I'm like, if 3 days is good, like check, I did it, and I still am maintaining where I've always been. So again, like you said, quantity and quality, right?
Yeah,
I'm still the same as I was when I was in my 30s. I might not be like as ripped, but that's okay. Like as you get older too, you start to realize aesthetics are not as important. At least that was another realization for me. But I'm still fit and I can still lift heavy shit. So it doesn't
okay, good.
matter, like, and I don't feel so wound up inside because I'm also incorporating other things that I enjoy, being out in nature, meditating, breath work. So
I think it's a combination. You have to do like, you have to tap everything, all the muscles and all the systems in your body, right?
Yes.
And my third question is, if your 30-year-old self would be sitting right across you right now, what would you tell her to do, not to do, or to change in her life?
I would say, Ursula, slow down. Like, take the time to just look at your surroundings and check in with yourself. Because I think that where I was in my 30s was I was just so focused on everything that was outside of me, my kids, my husband, my friends, my social life, all the things outside of me. And it was all just so fast and moving so fast that I needed to take that time to just slow down and like reconnect with myself. So like slow down and go with the flow.
Yeah,
Those are two main things, like just slow down and go with the flow. It's going to be okay.
I think that's the message we all need to hear. But I think I definitely agree with you. In my 30s, I was like running, and always thinking about what other people will say, will think, will do, and I don't know, something changed. And I of course, I cannot change the past, but I think you have to let it go, like you said, like Frozen in the movie Frozen said. It said, you have to let it go and go with the flow. Enjoy that time that you have with your family, with your loved ones, with your job, whatever you are enjoying. You have to really learn how to enjoy it, I believe, and really slow down. I think everybody needs to slow down a little bit in their life.
Yes. And I think that this is so great for you to be doing this podcast because it gives people some insight, right? Hearing from older people who have been done that. And if we're all kind of saying the same thing, in different ways, but like similar things, then it's like, okay, maybe I should slow down, or, for your listeners, they realize like, okay, wow, a lot of people are kind of coming in and saying similar things. And I hope that they get this information and that they utilize it and slow down and take that time to reconnect with themselves, even in the fast-paced moments. Because, we go through things throughout our lives. And I just truly am a believer that if you can just take even a few seconds to just check in with yourself and say, what do I need? What do I need?
Yeah.
That can make all the difference.
And hopefully they will reach out to you earlier and have your services earlier, so that, that's I think that's the most important investment in themselves, having a method, having a routine. Like you say, routine can be sometimes a little bit tricky, but having something to fall back to, that's very important. And knowing your routine and building your own routine that fits to your lifestyle and can adapt to your lifestyle, so can change with your lifestyle, I think it's the essential tool that you can have for your health and well-being. Then it will also relate to your family and even to your productivity in your job, right?
Correct. Yes. Oh yeah. It trickles from you out into your family, your community, your friends. I mean, yeah, it just, and then you also become, I say this, like vessel of light. And because all of a sudden, like you feel so much lighter. And then the people around you start to like feel your energy. And "Oh, what is she doing? Like, I want to do whatever you're doing because you just seem just so chill and more relaxed. And again, we have things we got to do. I still have a to-do list, but I'm just so much more relaxed about it than I was in my 30s, you know, and in my younger years. So yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ursula. It was, I think, a very nice conversation, and I hope our listeners can find some notes that they can relate to, and they can take your advices and check into themselves and see what they can change, what they can learn, and how, and I hope they can reach out to you and get your services and build a lifestyle that they will benefit from.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Bye-bye.